Well, the big day is almost here. In just a few days, I'm going to get a brand new right knee. Now, this is something that was years in the making, something I've been fighting for quite a long time to avoid. And on this video, I'm going to talk about it. I'm going to go through my process of when I was diagnosed, what my knee pain is, everything I tried. I'm going to talk about the things that worked, things that didn't work, and hopefully you're going to be able to get a lot of good information if you're going through this exact same thing. And then the biggie, the thing that actually got me to realize that it's time to actually go for replacement parts. Because like I said, I did not take this decision lightly. So here we go. So just before I turn on record, I looked at my email to find out when I saw this particular orthopedic surgeon. It turned out it was only 4 years ago. I thought it was probably 7 or 8 years ago, probably because I've been dealing with the pain for that long. It was about 7 years ago. I actually stopped playing softball, which I love playing softball, simply because I couldn't run anymore. So I know I probably needed new knees probably back 7 years ago, but it was only 4 years ago that the doctor, I went in for some knee problems, which I've always had knee problems. And he took one look at the x-ray and within 5 seconds said, Ron, you need some new knees. We got to replace both of them. And he pulls out his schedule and he's trying to schedule me right there on the spot. And I said, no, hold on. I don't do things that way. I always do things a little bit more unconventionally. So here's what I did. I decided I was going to find a way to avoid this because first off, I thought I was too young to get new knees. And second off, I thought there was alternatives out there. And sure enough, I went back and I started doing my own amateur little sleuthing and trying to figure out, how to avoid this. And I found that, there are people that are out there saying that, the majority of joint replacement surgeries are not necessary. I don't know how they come up with that, with whatever figures they have, or if it's even true or not, but I'm a believer in at least trying something different. So for the first year, the thing I tried for the first year was to just bitch, moan, and complain about it to whoever would listen, because well, quite honestly, I didn't do anything about it. Okay, I just did a little bit of research and didn't do anything with that information. But about a year into that, so about 3 years ago, I decided, well, probably the biggest thing that is adding to the pain was my weight. So back then, I weighed about 255 pounds. And I had been up to 283 pounds even a few years before then. But at that time, 255 pounds. And I thought, every step I take, that's a lot of pounding on those knees. So if I just lighten the load a little bit, maybe that'll help. And sure enough, it did. I went on a ketogenic diet, lost probably about maybe 30 pounds or so, and it felt pretty good. Now, along the way, because I went on a keto diet, a lot of the inflammation that I carried in my body from eating all those carbs and things like that went away. And ultimately, I think it's probably more the inflammation in the body that causes a lot of discomfort. Because once the inflammation went away and the weight went down, I felt pretty good. But that's not to say that I was cured, because the doctor said I was bone on bone, which I don't know if it was or not. I don't know how to read x-rays, but that's what he said. And he said, nothing's going to help it. But, as I said before, I'm going to try everything. So it gave me relief, but there's times, some weeks that it was horrible, and other times it was just okay. So I had this little roller coaster ride of pain. And thankfully, or maybe not thankfully, I can tolerate pain. I don't say that to brag. As a matter of fact, I probably think that was the problem. I could tolerate the pain, and I probably didn't need to do that for as long as I did. So let's see. I lost the weight, got rid of some inflammation, and then I saw on I think it was maybe a Facebook ad. Did you ever notice that, when you talk about something, all of a sudden you see an ad pop up on Facebook? Well, that's exactly what happened here. Somebody was saying, oh, there's this gel that they can inject in your knees, and that'll make the no problem. They'll take care of all your problems. And sure enough, there's an ad on Facebook for injecting some goop into the knees. And I think it's called hyaluronic acid or something like that. Probably didn't say that right. But it's like a gel. I figured, well, I was doing everything right. I lost the weight. I took down some inflammation. I just needed to lube the joints a little bit. So if it was bone on bone, that would give me some gel, some little padding in between. And that's all I really needed. So, gosh, I don't know how many thousands of dollars I plunked down out of my own pocket for this thing, but a series of injections, I think maybe 3 injections in both knees. Got a little bit of relief, but didn't last. And of course, they wanted to do more, just like anything. Just, well, if that didn't work, just let's keep doing it. And I thought, nah, that wasn't working. That didn't solve the problem like they said it did. So that was it. I didn't do anything other than bitch, moan, and complain. That was the one therapy I did throughout this entire program. So if it's going to work for you, bitch, moan, and complain. But it doesn't work for everybody that's around you, let me tell you. Tried a few different things. So I figured, well, if I strengthen the muscle, so there's this knees over toes guy, talks a lot about doing a lot of exercises to strengthen all the muscles around the joint. And that to me made perfect sense because, you got the stability there. Your legs are important to you. The muscles are vitally important to keep you upright. So I started doing a lot of leg work and increased the strength of my legs as much as I could bear because, again, doing those the exercises were kind of excruciating. Again, the bone on bone, it was not ideal to do that. And then continued with that. Then I took my diet to the next level. I was doing keto. Then I went carnivore about a year ago, and I got even more relief. My knees felt even better because the most of the inflammation in my body went away. But again, that was just kind of one of those temporary things on that roller coaster. I noticed, I got to the next level, but as time goes on, you start, that bone just keeps grinding and grinding and grinding, and it just didn't feel too good. Hang on one second, I'm drying out here a little bit. So with that, ridding of even more inflammation, lost even more weight, probably another 20 pounds. When I started this journey, I was 255 pounds. Now I am at about 207 pounds. And doing everything else in my body is fine except for my knees. And it didn't work on its own. So I figured, well, I'll try stem cells or a version of stem cells, which was the Wharton's jelly, which is some goop that they get out of umbilical cords, some building blocks of life. Those got injected in my knees. Tried that for a while. They say about 3 months before you feel any different. And it's been 6 months. I didn't feel any different. So that didn't help. I tried dry needling to, get some disruption around the knee so that more of the good stuff my body would start helping repair that area. That didn't work. I had a client send this little contraption over where you put on the knee and it kind of vibrates and massages the knee with a red light therapy on that. Gives real temporary relief for about 20 minutes, and then that didn't work. I've always been a big fan of red light therapy, and so I had bought some specific red light therapy things for my knees. That helped with the inflammation, and the inflammation is actually what kind of presses on all the nerves and makes it feel uncomfortable. So the more inflammation you can take away, the better. So that helped a little bit, but again, I still had that bone on bone. It still was grinding away. It was still hurting, and like I said, at times it was just excruciating, where I could probably stay upright for about 30 minutes, and then I had to sit down. And I think just because that pain, the grind, would just cause more inflammation every time I walked. So I kind of got to the point where I just had to throw up my hands and say, I got to do something different. Okay. So before I get to why I made the decision to get the knee replacement, let me talk about the lessons learned. I am a big believer in that everything I tried could have and maybe would have worked had I started earlier. So, like I said, 4 months ago or 4 years ago, I was told I needed the new knees, but it was probably about 7 years ago that my knees really started hurting a lot. And to think out of every single day of my life for the last 7 years, my knees hurt. I'm really looking forward to them not hurting. But if you're going through this and you're wondering what to do, if your knees hurt, start now. Don't wait for a diagnosis that you need new knees. Everything I did helped a little bit. But number one, look, lose some weight. Get rid of inflammation in your body. And I think that is the best place. That will give you the quickest change in the way that you feel. I'm a big believer in stem cells. I would have loved to go down to Mexico and get stem cells, but at that time I kind of realized that maybe I waited a little bit too long. So again, if you're earlier in this journey, try the stem cell. I didn't do PRP because PRP, from what I understand, doesn't necessarily help rebuild, which is what I knew I needed. That's what was the hope for stem cells, to rebuild my knees. PRP, I know, helps with the pain, and I was looking for more of a permanent solution. Plus, by the way, I was really hoping to delay this as long as possible because technology is just growing exponentially. So I was kind of hoping the technology in not only how they do the knee operations, but the apparatus that they install in there would be that much better. And all of those things I want to delay as long as possible. But here I am, 3 days away. What was the biggest thing that I had to get over to get that decision to get the knee replaced? It was all up here. For me, I just hated that idea of putting replacement parts. I've had these right now for 62 years. I don't want to replace original equipment, but I'm just at that point. I think I'm beyond repair other than for these replacements. So that's really why I'm here, and that's the reason why I'm recording this video here, is to kind of help walk you through what I went through, kind of give you some advice to start earlier, tell you what worked for me, what worked best for me, what didn't work very well at all. And then I'm going to record videos probably every day through this entire process. I'll come back tomorrow with another video, talk a little bit more about what's going on. I will do maybe a morning of and morning after operation. Maybe a little drugged up, so Lord knows what I'm going to be saying on that video. But every day I'm going to try posting and kind of let you know through what the therapies are and what it's like to get a knee replaced, so that if you are in the same situation and you're dreading the fact of getting a new knee, maybe it's going to help you. Hopefully what I gave you so far is going to help take away some of the pain or give you some hope that maybe you can avoid this. But if you can't and you're beyond repair like I was and it's time to get new knees, maybe I'll help you along that journey along the way. So feel free to drop me a line down below. If you already had some replacement parts installed, let me know how it went. If you have some words of advice, fantastic. I know the therapy is extremely important, and for a guy who's worked out for almost 2,600 days in a row, I know how important it is to move. And my goal, and I've got a couple secret weapons for my therapy, which will accelerate the healing. Hopefully, I'll be sharing on future videos. But thanks for watching. Drop me a line down below. Send me some encouragement, and hopefully you got some great value on there, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.